Congressman Jason Chaffetz from Utah. He joins us now. Thanks for joining us. First of all, Mr. Chaffetz, I was hoping to hear Geithner and Paulson explain email cover-ups, hush deals, backdoor deals. All I heard was, so who was in charge? And I heard, not me either.
Yeah,
what gives?
That's hey, it wasn't me. You know, he was only in charge. He was only the #1 guy on the seat. So, but when they gave us 250,000 pieces of paper that we've been poring over, and what's very clear is that there was a very concerted effort between Treasury and the Fed and the Federal Reserve Board of New York and the attorneys to make sure that the public didn't get to see what they were doing with literally tens of billions of dollars, and that's what's just so wrong. It's just absolutely fundamentally wrong.
Well, and Representative, I mean, there's questions whether the actions themselves were legal, whether they were constitutional. Are we going to see some prosecutions? I've been asking, pleading everybody, for congressmen to senators to attorney generals, prosecute somebody.
Yeah, they need to go. Nobody can justify what they've done, and so you know, we're going to need to make sure that justice and others get involved here, because there was a very concerted cover-up in terms of where the money's gone, and we still don't have full exposure, and we need to make sure we continue to put that pressure on them. And now you have the Treasury Secretary saying, well, we're going to make a profit on this. At the same time, you have the Inspector General say, no, you're not going to make a profit. In fact, the man of the year for Time Magazine should be Neil Barofsky, the guy who's investigating him, not for Mr. Bernanke.
Yeah, you bring up a lot of good points, and the fact that I also was sitting watching there saying, okay, so if he doesn't even know, apparently they acknowledge that AIG was so crucial to our economy and to the country that if it failed, we would go into mega collapse. I mean, Paulson said 25% unemployment. If it was that important, don't you think you should be involved in the major decisions involving this company? I mean, if they can't do that, I question his judgment and leadership right now at the Treasury Department with Geithner.
Oh, absolutely. In fact, what you see is the senior staff there at the Federal Reserve Board in New York seriously questioning whether or not this should have ever been done. I mean, the career professionals that were in there were very clear in their email communications all the way up to Mr. Geithner, and saying, we really question whether or not this is so important. And there's a lot of contradictions that I think will come out in the media more and more. And again, Neil Barofsky there, the Inspector General, oh, that guy's a superstar. We got to keep patting him on the back. Yeah, he's good.
Representative, yesterday we had the judge Napolitano on here. We were talking about how they came to this 100 cents on the dollar. I know it gets a little bit in the weeds, but you know, it appears to me, and I've traded swaps before, it appears to me that they paid $29 billion for an asset that originally cost 62. Great, fantastic. But then there was a $33 billion makeup somehow, and for the life of me, I can't find where, why, or how they did that. And just coincidentally, 29 plus 33 equals 62 billion, that face value. Did anyone question these guys where that 33 billion came from?
Well, we continually question, but we didn't get the answers that we need, because clearly there is no justification for paying 100% of assets that were obviously devalued. And that's where these public documents, the so-called Schedule A that's out there, has not been released publicly. They've tied it up so now that it won't be until 2018 that the public will get to see that. And until the public continues to just pound on the walls, and I am willing to help lead that charge and say, these have to be released to the public. It's public money that we're talking about. There's no justification to keep hiding it.
Congressman, what would it take? I say, actually, yesterday I nominated Neil Barofsky to be the next president of the United States. It sounds to me like he has already found factual fraud. What would it actually take from him? What's the process to make you guys actually roll some heads out there?
Well, we need to make sure the majority will actually continue to issue subpoenas. And we heard testimony from Neil Barofsky that is in direct contradiction to the Secretary of the Treasury. That continues to be the #1 focus that we have to keep going on, because we're talking about tens of billions of dollars of American people's money that is still not fully accounted for. So please give us the subpoena power, and let's continue to push the Treasury Secretary.
Just real quickly, are you saying this Schedule A will outline where that money went? And if so, maybe Fox Business, we've been known to do FOIAs. Maybe we'll do one more and see if we can
why won't it be out until 2018?
Because they
Well,
said
I think
10
that
years
by
of
then they'll
national
probably
security.
pretty much have left the
but
building
did
at that point.
They put it under this confidential agreement that it cannot be released until then?
A national security issue.
Yeah, they're claiming that it has the same sort of weight as national security. Now, they've listed out some of the beneficiaries, but the
Ridiculous.
details of those transactions,
Sounds
the
like
American
FOIA.
people deserve to have it. Yeah.
Amen.
We've got to
You
enforce
keep
it.
Probably do
subpoenaing.
that.
Please keep on top of this, Representative.
Wow,
Oh, absolutely.
2018.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you very much, Representative Jason
Thank you.
Tippett. All right. After much anticipation, folks, Apple released its newest creation today and added yet another word to the English vocabulary.